Hello everyone, it's me. So, I'm going to show you a thing in Ezekiel. And this is talking about a cherubim. Now, this is not the same cherubim that's on the ark. It's not the same thing. It's not. But I'm going to explain to you what these things really are. Okay? So, one theory is a cherubim. Hold on. What is a cherubim? Okay, a cherubim. First, we're going to talk about this. This is what they say a cherubim looks like a bird, like some kind of a crazy looking creature or something. But, however, there's one problem with this. This is the cherubim that's spoken about in Ezekiel. Let's talk about the one on the ark. Alright? This is the cherubim that is talked about in the older versions of the Old Testament, the older books. But, the ones in Ezekiel are different, much different. So, I'm going to explain to you why it is different, and I'm going to explain to you the difference between those things. So, let's go ahead and look up Book of Ezekiel. Now, yeah. I think it's right here, I believe. I think it's right here. Alright, so here we go. This is the background, okay? This is the background. I don't know why. Okay. Hold on. That's not what I'm looking for. Hold on. I think it was supposed to be on Bible Hub, I believe. Hold on. Hold on. That's not what I'm looking for either. Alright, here we go. Here's what we're going to talk about, okay? In this, I look behind a whirlwind coming from the north. A great cloud with fire flashing back and forth, brilliant light all around it. In the center of the fire was a gleam like ember, and within it was the form of 4 living creatures. So, what is that? What is the 4 living creatures inside the living creature? So, these are seats. This is a seat. There's 4 of them in a vehicle. So, we're going to explain that later. And this was their appearance. They had human form, but each had faces and had 4 faces and 4 wings. So, this is talking about the heads of the seats. And the 4 wings, you know how the doors flop open on the vehicles? There's 4 doors. How many cars in this world have 4 doors? A lot. There's a lot of cars that have 4 doors. So when they open, they're like wings. Alright? Their legs were straight, and their soles of their feet were like hooves of a calf, gleaming like polished bronze. So, feet. Their feet were straight. So what does that mean? What holds on to these doors? What holds on to it? They're straight. They're absolutely straight. And the soles of their feet were like hooves of a calf. Okay? Alright, under their wings, they had four. On their four sides had human hands. So yeah, all four creatures, all four living creatures had faces and wings, and their wings were touching one another. So when the doors closed, they touched. They did not turn. They did not turn as they moved, which means the doors did not rotate. They stayed the same. All right, and their wings. All right, and each one went straight ahead. Okay. All right. The form of their faces was that of a man. Each of the four had a face of a lion on the right side. So this is talking about the four living creatures. So we've already talked about how many? 3? 4? Form of the face was that each of a man and had the face of a lion on the right side. Okay? And the face of an ox on the left side. And also had the face of an eagle. Such were their faces. Their wings were spread upward and had two wings touching the wings of the creature on either side, and two wings covering its body. Each creature went straight ahead. Wherever the spirit would go, they would go without turning as they moved. So what does that mean? They did not rotate. The cars did not rotate. People rotate. Any other creature would rotate. But the cars did not turn as they moved. They did not rotate. So we already know this is talking about vehicles. We already know that. Okay? In the midst of the living creatures was the appearance of a glowing coals of fire or of torches. Fire moved back and forth between the living creatures. It was bright, and the lightning flashed out of it. The creatures were darting back and forth as quickly as flashes of lightning. So, yeah. These are not creatures. I can't think of what these vehicles may be, but these are not angels. These are vehicles. They're vehicles. You know that, right? So let's keep reading. When I looked at the four living creatures, I saw a wheel on the ground on each side of each creature, and with its four faces. 4 faces means the windows, the exterior of it. The workmanship of the wheels looked like the gleam of beryl. So what is beryl? Let's look up beryl. What does beryl look like? Beryllium. That is what the big thing. It's a steel gray metal, and it is used nowadays to make the interior of the wheels and the exterior of the wheels. So let's keep reading. All right. It was like all had the same likeness. So they're all the same. All the wheels are the same. The workman looked like the wheel within a wheel. So what does a wheel within a wheel look like? Wheel within a wheel. Let's look this up real quick, okay? Alright. I know they did not 2,000 years ago, or even before this present time, they did not have wheels within a wheel. And if they did, it would take a special craftsman to do so. But Ezekiel is talking about something totally different than this. It's not even the same. So, let's go ahead and keep moving further. All right. Wheel. All right. This is what it looks like. That's what we're talking about here. A wheel within a wheel. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a wheel within a wheel. It's the same thing. They didn't start inventing these until later. This is not the wheel in between a wheel. This is the most common used wheel of the older times. But since this wheel was first created, it became the common wheel that we use today. So as they moved, they went in any of the four directions without pivoting as they moved. So what this means, alright, without pivoting as they move, which means, what does it mean to pivot? Let's look up pivot, okay? So alright, hold on. To pin or shaft on which mechanical part turns. The action of moving it around a point. The action of pivoting a person or thing that is central or important. Alright, pivoting. What this means is that when the wheel turns, it does not pivot. It stays the same. Now, it does turn, but it doesn't pivot. But this isn't talking about did they turn. They do turn, but it just doesn't pivot. Pivoting is when it moves in a certain direction. It can't move in every single direction like it would have said otherwise. But no, this is saying that it doesn't pivot. That's different. Their rims were high and awesome. A vehicle. And all had full rims and full of eyes all around. What is, okay. We've made that very clear. Let's look that up again. Full of eyes all around. What are these little holes right here? What are these little holes? We're not even talking about that, okay? We're talking about eyes. Look at those holes. You see that? Eyes. They were awesome and high. What is Ezekiel all about? Ezekiel is all about the end of days. And I assure you, my friends, we are already here. Okay? So let's keep moving. Come on. So as the living creatures moved, the wheels moved beside them, and when the creatures rose from the ground, the wheels also rose. So that means when they go on a hill or something, when they travel on top of a hill, the wheels also go with it. When they rose from the ground. Okay? Wherever the Spirit would go, they would go. And the wheels would rise alongside them because the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. So that means that wherever the vehicle went, wherever the wheels were, the spirit of the vehicle, which is how the vehicle moved, the people who moved the vehicle and drove it. And the reason why it's talking like this is because when Ezekiel saw this, it was not fully understood what it was. Okay. When the creature stood still, the wheels stood still. Alright, so now name an angel that stays still and doesn't move. Who? Who? That's hard. I understand that's hard to argue with. And the reason why most of you get this way off, why it's so hard to make out what this is. It's so hard. But it's actually more simple than you think it is. It's more simple than you think it is, okay? And when the creatures rose from the ground, the wheels rose alongside, because of the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. Alright? And divine glory spread out from the heads of the living creatures was like the likeness of an awesome expanse, gleaming like crystal. And under the expanse, their wings stretched out toward one another. Each one had also had 2 wings covering its body. Now, okay, when the creatures moved, I heard the sound of their wings like the roar of many waters. This is talking about airplanes. Airplanes and air vehicles. Okay? Like the voice of the Almighty and this is talking about the sound of the air vehicles, the aircraft that they use. When they stood still, they lowered their wings, and there came a voice from above, expanse over their heads, as they stood still with the wings covered. So this is talking about when the wings are covered. So yeah. Alright. Above the expanse over their head was like the lightness of a throne and the appearance of sapphire. So this is talking about an airplane. You know how a seat of an aircraft looks like? It's fancy. It's fancy. It's beautiful. Especially when you get in one of those things. It's amazing, you know. And the high throne above was like a figure of a man. Alright, so a figure of a man. From what seemed to his waist up, I saw a gleam like amber, and what appeared like fire within all around. And from what seemed to be to his waist down, and I saw look like fire, a brilliant light surrounded him. The appearance of the brilliant light all around him, like the rainbow of a cloud on a rainy day, was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of God. And when I saw it, I fell down and heard a voice speaking. So this is the end of what it says. This is the introduction, and this is the conclusion. The conclusion is everything that is being talked about was the likeness of the glory of God. And when they saw it, they fell face down and heard a voice speaking. Now, this is what I wanted to explain to you. This is talking about vehicles. This is not talking about an actual angel. Let me show you what it's not talking about, okay? Because I'm pretty sure I know you know what I'm talking about. This is what it's not talking about. That's not what a cherubim looks like. Now, if you want to talk about the original cherubim and the secondary cherubim, there's 2 types of cherubims. There's 2 cherubims. They have 2 wings, and they're sitting on the back of on the ark. And you also have these. But these cherubims are more sophisticated. They're more complicated to understand than the ones that are on the ark. The ones that were talked about that were on the ark were specific. But this is complicated for a reason. And they want you to think in a broader perspective and a better perspective. They don't want you to think, oh, that's not what it's talking about. Oh, that's what it's talking about. They want you to think about what it says. And they're going to give you a pretty good idea. They're not going to take away or add to the fact that what it is what it is. So, it is, in fact, talking about vehicles. And I've already explained to you in this video what that is. Don't think me wrong for this, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's talking about. I'm pretty sure. Ezekiel, the first Ezekiel chapter is very specific about what it is saying. Very specific. And it goes on to say that it continues on where Ezekiel sees these things. And he's prophesying the things that which must come. And these things are coming. They're already here, my friend. You know, we're talking about famine, sword, and dispersion. Okay? The razor of judgment. Okay? All this is happening. Everything in Ezekiel is happening right now. Prophecy has not been completely fulfilled. But when it does, then that's when I start reigning forever and ever. And the reason why I'm saying that I'm the David that is talking about is because of the things that I can do. It's already been made sure that I am the same David that the Bible is talking about. The same David. And they will look upon him whom they pierced. Now, this person that they pierced was me. But it wasn't me at the same time. You see, I was pierced. I don't tell very many people that. Don't go around telling people that, okay? Don't. Because you're just going to make them hate me. I don't need the hate. I'm fine. I don't need that, okay? I don't need that hate. What I need you to do is try to be more reasonable with your words and try to be more reasonable with yourself. Please. Because nobody needs any kind of unnecessary nonsense that's going to come from your mouth or come from your vibes. Nobody needs your negative vibes. Okay? I want you to know that I love you. Don't think that I don't. I most definitely love you. Okay? You have a very wonderful and glorious day, my friends. Have a nice day. All right. Bye-bye.